Hey, what's up? And welcome back. I'm Kalani,
And I'm Frank,
and we are the Blockbuster Brothers.
Blockbuster Brothers. We watch movies.
And then we talk about them.
Yeah, we do. Ching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she moved really fast,
Her
right?
gauntlets.
She blocked it
Yeah,
and then used her rope to hold him in
Yeah.
place so that she could shoot him. So
Ah,
that's what was happening on the.
dang! I gotta
on the
watch
scene.
that part again and pause it.
Yeah, slow motion. Yeah, go frame by frame on that one. But yeah. So they had that whole fight scene. But yeah, and then they go back, right? Where you
Yeah. So Letty and Ja just somehow regrouped in the Land Rover and go back to Shaw's Batcave, and they tell Shaw
Yeah.
that we lost the fan,
mm,
and Shaw's like, well, then he made a mistake.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden Letty, yeah, exactly. And Letty's all of a sudden now got a heart, and she's just like,
Right.
whoa. So what are you gonna say when we make a mistake?
He's like, great eulogy, Shaw.
Yeah. And then is this where she says, I'm gonna go get some air?
Yes. Well, she just leaves and then
Yeah.
she goes and starts working on her car, right?
Yeah.
Even though they have a mechanic for that. She's
Right.
working on her car. And then he comes out and like threatens her. He's like,
Right.
He pretty much says, I like you, Letty, but don't push it.
He says this really dumb thing where he's just like, when I found you in the hospital and you couldn't remember anything, it was a gift. And I was like, for you?
Yeah. Right. He's like, okay. So I wrote down kind of what he said. It was really creepy. He's like, you're sentimental, Letty. I like you. I even say I feel a certain warmth towards you. When I found you, you're a blank page. It was a gift. So I feel protective towards you. I'd hate to see you make a mistake. And so
that was uncanny.
That was the greatest threat.
That was the weird threat, right? Super creeps.
Yeah.
And then that's when she's like, I'm gonna go get some air.
I'm gonna get some air. Yeah.
Which
takes off in her.
Is something that she says and Dom says a lot in the old movies.
Oh,
right. Like there's this one part I think in the first movie or first movie I think, when Dom's getting all pissed off and he's ready to fight, and she's telling him, "Let's go get some air."
Yeah.
You know, and then she says, "Take me for a drive." So I like these little Easter eggs. I feel like the writers
we might be creating this movie, but but
they're accidental Easter eggs.
Yeah.
It's not the genius of the writers.
Justin, if you'd like to buy these Easter eggs,
you know what?
Blockbusterbrothers.com.
They gotta be. They gotta be geniuses to write these Girl Scout cookie lines too.
Yeah. I believe it. So back to to Hobbs' hideout.
Yep.
I think I changed it to Hobbs' hideout because the H's, but that's what I wrote in my notes. Dom is there revving the Mustang.
Yep.
Like, we go back there. He's like revving, and it sounds beautiful. It sounds nice. And Riley shows up, and she's like, "We met Letty. She's lovely.
She's got a black eye, and like everybody's all beat up because like Han and Rome are just like, don't tell anybody that this happened."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot I did write that. And then so Ted just comes up. He's like, all the videos were down wherever Shaw was. All the CCTV video was down. So I think Hobbs is like, well, I think it's time to pay CCTV a visit. A little spoiler of that earlier, but this is that happens.
This is exactly what
Before that though, we have the souped up harpoon gun, right? that that Tej and Rome are kind of fighting over. Right? And I think they come in and they let everybody know Braga is working with Shaw, and then Brian's like, "Oh, they're Braga's in a prison, and I guess Brian is gonna go pay him a visit."
Right,
so I'm like,
right.
okay.
And they're like, "How are you going to get into the country? You won't be able to get out. You can't even get in the country."
Yeah. And he's like, "I got it covered," something like that. And that's when they cut to CCTV, which might as well take it over. You already started it earlier.
Well, okay, so before I go into CCTV, mind you, like as you're explaining this, they only have 4 days to be doing this, right? So is this the first day? So I'm trying to keep track of days too. So okay, this is the first. We'll just say this is the first day.
We'll just give them the benefit.
Okay, and so they go to the CCTV place. There's cameras all over the city. They're monitoring, and The Rock and Gina go there. Basically, he's on to them that he tells them pull up all the cameras, in this area at this time. And he was like, "Oh, it's down for maintenance." And they're like, "It's pretty interesting that every time it's down for maintenance, crimes are happening."
Yeah.
So he says, "Thanks very much," and he shakes his hand and he crushes all the bones in the guy's hand.
Yeah. Well, before that, what the guy did, he was acting very rude because he was like, "Will someone tell Captain America here that you need clearance for that?" And Riley's like, "We got clearance. Come on. Come on, son." Yeah. He's like,
he got sun. He totally got sun.
Come on, son. And and then that's when they pull it up and conveniently maintenance. Yeah. And then that's when the handshake happens.
The Rock just breaks all the chicken bones in this guy's hand. It's great. You can hear him just snapping like rubber bands.
Yeah. And so they get access to the CCTV.
He gets a live feed. Yeah.
Live feed. Yeah.
For Tej.
And he's like, "And I suggest that you cancel all maintenance."
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, buddy. See
Thanks
you next
a lot,
time, Captain America.
I couldn't beat up anybody in this scene, but so far I've been in a body slamming scene, a scene where I steal a man's clothing, and a scene where I crush somebody with a handshake. You know what? I'm sure at this point The Rock is thinking to himself, "I'm just gonna have my own movie where I can punch anybody anytime I want. Yeah. It's gonna be called Hobbs, and I'll figure out the other name later."
Right.
So
this is confusing to me. Yeah. Because the bad guy's name is Shaw, but I guess we'll find out later. But
so it cuts to Brian.
Yeah.
Brian's getting off a private jet in LA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's dressed as a prisoner. He's in handcuffs. Yeah. And my next snap moment was Stasiak.
Yeah.
He gets out of the car. Yeah.
So this is the same guy that he broke his nose in Fast and Furious. Is when he came back as a federal agent, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was the guy with the sandwich in Too Fast, Too Furious that Rome was just like, "This your sandwich?" He's like, "Yeah." So it's not. It's a different guy though.
It's the guy from Fast and the Furious where he broke his nose in the
I remember in the station. Yeah. In the time cop station.
My question is, do they process prisoners on private jets? Is that how he got the orange suit? Like, don't they process them at the prison? Anyway,
dude,
that's neither here nor there.
So, like, just the timeline. So they got 4 days to do this, right?
Yeah.
We find out from Stasiak that, listen, I can get you into this prison for 24 hours. That's one of their days now. Okay?
Right, that's
they're losing a day for Brian. So I can get you in for 24 hours, but Braga is in solitary confinement. I can only get you into Gen Pop. You're going to have to figure it out. But if you don't get out in 24 hours, you're in here for life.
No pressure, Brian.
No pressure.
I've been a cop for a long time. I got
and I don't know if you know, but in this universe, life is 5 years. with the amount of death that's in this movie. Nobody, the estimated like lifespan of people is 5 years. So
that's why that eulogy line didn't make sense, because there's no deaths in this universe.
Yeah.
So.
How does he get into solitary?
He's like, so Stasiak is like, you got to do something, and so Brian's like, well, I'm sorry, and he like beats up Stasiak and slams his head into a wall and breaks his nose again, and he's even saying it like, oh, not again. And so I guess he gets put in the place in a cell,
solitary,
in solitary, he's all by himself in there. And then it cuts back so that's Victorville. I think that's the name of the
Victorville
prison. Prison. And then it cuts back to Hobbs Hive. I keep changing the name of
I know, it's funny. Keep going. Hobbs House.
Hobbs House. That should be next. I don't think I got that one. I gotta change my notes. And so Tej is like, Big Brother's is about to go live. And then I have incomplete notes here, but this is where I was gonna say earlier I was wrong. Rome and
Rome and Tej
are arguing over the harpoon gun.
Yeah. Because Tej has upgraded the harpoon gun by just adding a NOS bottle to the back of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He made a potato gun out of it. And,
exactly.
But Han comes in and lets Dom know about a street race that's going to go on. And right when they're talking, Rome shoots the harpoon gun right between the two of them.
Yep.
Ending the scene. And they're looking at Rome like, seriously, bro. And Rome's like, hands off the thing to Tej. And that's that scene. And it cuts back to Brian at prison. The camera, the guards shut down the camera.
Yeah. And then Braga shows up outside Brian's cell with 2 goons. And he's just pretty much extra creepy.
Yeah, this is what he says verbatim. How does it feel being on the other side of a wanted poster? He pretty much brings back Vince, the Vince line.
R.I.P. Vince.
Yeah. Pretty much, because he's like, and then like he says the classic like super bad guy villain line. Yeah, he's like, well, you're gonna die anyway. Let me tell you the entire story.
Dude, he literally says that. It's so funny. And he basically just says what we already know about Shaw.
Yeah.
He says that Shaw knows your next move before you can even think of it. And
that's why I feel like this trip was pointless. Like,
it was.
They already could find out that Letty didn't remember anything. Like, it feels like that already happened. Dom kind of already figured that out.
Right.
And because that's what he finds out. He finds out Braga, like, he beats up these 2 goons. The 2 goons are about to stab him.
There's a funny line, though. There's a funny line because the door is locked in between them. And he was just like, Brian tells Braga, if this door wasn't here, I would beat you up. And the door just opens.
And then Brian's eyes get huge.
Yeah.
I was just joking. Close it.
1 shank, 2 shank, coming at you.
So he fights these 2 dudes with the shanks. He gets cut once because he turns his back on one of them. But he ends up beating those 2 up. And then he grabs a shank, hovering over Braga. And Braga's like, you're not going to do nothing. And so Brian stabs him. And he's like, shank. And then he's about to stab him again. And Braga grabs his hand and like holds him. He's like, and he starts telling him.
He folded real quick, this villain. I know.
Yeah. It was, he just tells him everything that we already know, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much Letty doesn't remember anything. That was it. And that was it.
I mean, I don't know what the point of this whole visit was. The point. It seems like the point was just so that Brian could feel responsible for Letty losing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, not even have closure.
Because he comes back. Because the next scene, he comes back, right? And he tells Dom, it was my fault. And guess what Dom says? It doesn't matter.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Whatever you heard over there, that was for you. But that whole trip wasn't for this movie. or this storyline. It was just for you.
Keep it to yourself.
we needed something to fill the movie, and that's why we kept that in there. But
we need an extra 15 minutes of this show. It's so dumb.
We do get to that, but before that, it's actually the race scene, Letty versus Dom.
Well, cutting back to one other quick thing. I don't know how important. This is not even important, but when Braga's telling Brian what happened, they replay the entire scene of
that's right, the Dark Knight scene.
Braga's goon going to kill Letty, right? And the Dark Knight scene, yeah. And we thought that he killed Letty, but in this scene, he just shoots the car, and the car explodes, throwing Letty out. And 50 First dating her brain, right? So
when Dom was actually there, Letty was right on the side of the road.
She was just right there in the bushes. I guess he is not the greatest detective.
He is not the greatest detective.
I mean, he couldn't smell her in the air. Come on, detective.
Nope. Come on.
He hasn't been a detective that long.
No. What was his name? His name was Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yes, that's right.
I'm impressed that I remember that.
I am impressed.
We've gone through a lot of goons in the past weeks.
And Phoenix wasn't my favorite. Ja is my favorite so far.
Ja is, yeah.
So
Phoenix is down there. But yeah, so now the race scene, they pull up more mid-drift. They have to have mid-drift.
1 hour and 5 minutes into the movie, we have our first Fast and Furious mid-drift car, obligatory cars pulling in scene with techno music.
Yeah, so they pretty much just drive right through. They show Letty like taking money from somebody, so it looks like she just won a race. And then it just shows them lining up to race. Letty and Dom's car. Letty has a Jensen Interceptor.
That car is so cool.
It is a nice car. And versus the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona, right? That's what that one is. Flintstone powered car. Yeah. And she looks at Dom and is like, "You got a death wish, you know, you're crazy," or whatever. And he's like, "Ride or die."
Remember?
Ride or die.
Yeah. And she's like confused face again. So she's starting to remember. Yeah, her resting face. Yeah.
So how did you like this pre-race speech that this girl comes up?
Dude, I was just looking at my notes. This girl, whoever she is, I gotta look in the credits. I don't even know what she was credited. She had the weirdest speech. She comes out in front of the two cars, and it's just her and the camera. Yeah. And she's just like, what does she say?
"This is London."
And then she says,
Brazil.
She gives like advice, and then she's like, "But remember, don't bite the bait."
Yeah.
We're like,
does that have anything to do with this? Right. And then
she's just like, "We just need you to say go."
Yeah. And does she make that speech for every race that comes up?
I don't know. Like the other race, she's just like, "And remember, brush your teeth."
It's just random tips every time. And ready, steady. That's what she's like. Ready, steady, and so they take off.
She says, "This is London, baby."
Yeah, baby. Yeah, it was. I feel like that. You know, in the Wayne's World movie where they stopped the film to bring in another actor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that part. I feel like this should have been like, wait a minute, can't we get someone? Yeah, that's true. It is the gas station guy, right?
Yeah.
They brought in. I feel like that should have been this part.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but then I'm kidding because I like how she did it. I did. I like that part. But they take off. They start racing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't frozen. I was just like,
mad props.
What?
Mad props to that actress.
Mad props. Yep. So Dom and Letty. This is London, baby. So Dom and Letty race, and Yeah, it's a pretty good race. But what I like about it is that they just somehow know where the finish line is.
Right.
They're racing through the city, and there's this like indiscriminate line that they just cross, and then they know that the race is over.
Yeah.
So they pull into this back alley, and we're just like, oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen now. She remembers everything. But they go into this real like Lethal Weapon 1 scene, just like the other movie that
like the Han and the Wonder Woman scene.
Yeah. They just start comparing scars, and the scars get more private, like, you know, and she's the one who led him. She leads him into that alley. Yeah. She starts showing him scars, and then she's just like, "I'm out of here."
In my notes, I have the Letty Scar history lesson. That's what we go through.
Yeah.
She's like, "What do you know about me?"
About each scar. Yeah.
Like I was, like, this one you got from a kid showing off, and I was a kid showing off, and this one you got from a cobra driving through a wall with my sister, and then this one was when the last time we were together in the DR, right? And Letty's like, "I'm not that girl."
That's when he ditched her, right?
Yeah, that's when
he ditched her, and he left the chain, the cross chain, which has just made its way across the universe. Like this chain is like. Chain. I feel like the movie is about the chain. It is. The chain is the main character. To follow the chain.
Whoever has a chain has Dom.
Oh snap! Dang, you're giving too much credit to these writers. Come on. I mean, if we're watching a Chris Nolan movie, I would give it to you. You know what I mean? But like, okay. So she leaves, and immediately after she leaves, Shaw. I mean, she has to see Shaw pull up because they literally have to pass each other. Shaw pulls up in his car. Like, oh hi, and he pulls up and he talks to Dom, and he's just basically, you know, like, I have a code. It's all about precision, and
my code is better than your code.
Right, your code is family, and it's flawed because you're loyal to a fault.
Yeah,
and blah blah blah. And he basically says, "I'll give you guys a chance to walk away now with your family." And Dom,
he pretty much knows all about Dom, right? Because he mentioned it. Wait, is this when? This is when he talks about the DVDs. He went. Dude, this is where he's like stealing DVDs to stealing $1 million.
Dude, this is the line. He asks the question that we've been asking. Street kids. He goes like, "How did you become street kids who started out stealing DVD players to pulling off heists in Rio?" Yeah. It's just like, and tanks. And tank, I feel a tank coming.
Separate.
Please tank. Please tank. Yeah. So, I mean, like, talk about heavy-handed. It's like when movies, when they write the title of the movie into the movie. Some would say, "I was fast and furious."
6 times.
6 times. So Hobbs is just like, not Hobbs. Dom is just like, "Your mother ever teach you not to threaten a man's family?"
And then he's like, "You should have stayed with the cute Brazilian number, right?"
Oh yeah.
And this 2-bit hack of a cop or whatever.
Right.
Hobbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has weak spots because of his code.
Excuse me, he's not a 2-bit hack. He's Old Testament.
He's Old Testament.
According to
Let's get Brian here.
Movie. Let's get Brian here. He can vouch for that.
So
I want to know what happened to the rest of Hobbs' team.
Right?
Where are those guys?
Die in the favelas?
How did those guys die and Dom and his team not die?
Especially when Vince was. Oh, that's why Vince didn't make it out of that, because he was just firing, praying and praying.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much, hey, I'm gonna let you go. But Dom is like, you let it go, we'll go. And he's like, I guess our fairy tale ends here then. And then a sniper dot, lands on Dom's chest. And Dom is like, well, I guess it does. and a dot lands on Shaw's chest.
Okay, I wanted because they show Shaw's sniper when Dom's red dot shows up. But I wanted the Shaw dot to show up on him and then cut to like Rome in an alley, like with a laser pointer. Just like
yeah.
That and he's just good. Like, please don't call this bluff. Please don't call this bluff. All I got is a rock.
Yeah. No. With him with his harpoon gun in the back.
Yeah. So we find out who's behind that laser pointer, and it's the Rock. It's Hobbs.
It's the 2-bit hack.
It's a 2-bit hack.
I think Dom is like pretty good for a 2-bit hack. 2-bit hack, huh? Yeah.
So Shaw peels off.
Yeah.
And Hobbs is up there, and it makes me wonder. I was just like, was Hobbs just gonna watch these like Letty and Dom like reunite? I mean, he already kind of did with Neves and Dom in the beginning of the movie, right?
We don't know how long he was on that porch.
Maybe Hobbs is a 2-bit hack. That is his weak spot. Not. Relationships.
That's his weak spot. Yeah. And emotion. And acting like he's hurt.
He's just like, I wish I had a lady.
So Brian makes it back. He's back on the plane. He thanks Stasiak for his help. And that was that. And then now Letty is looking at the chain and the picture of her and Dom, reminiscing, I guess, or trying to remember. And like this guy. But then Letty and Shaw have this conversation about taking out Toretto. Like, if I ask you to take out Toretto, you're gonna do it?
Yeah.
And she's like, why don't you look into my eyes and tell me what you think?
Uncanny, Kalani.
And then it's like, why? You can just tell me. But he believes her. He's like, all right, I got you. I'm catching your drift.
Yeah.
And Letty gives him the chain and says, keep it, right? Because she needs to prove that her loyalty.
Right.
Right. Because she doesn't want to make a mistake. So, yep. That was pretty much it for that part.
Yep.
And then Tej, Riley, and Hobbs find Shaw's hideout on satellite. Because they're like, every time they go to this area, it's blacked out. So must be around here somewhere. And Riley is like, no, this is Shaw's MO. He's got vantage points. He's got escape routes, highways, subways. It's all there. That's where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
So Hobbs and Riley, they go check it out, and Shaw's gone. He and his crew dug out. They knew something. They knew he was coming, I guess. Yeah.
Time out. So if you're listening to this right now, I don't have the timestamp, but you need to find this scene. It is the scene when Hobbs calls Tej. And on Tej's phone, it says Samoan Thor calling.
Oh, is that this? Yeah. Is that this part?
Okay, yes, so Tej picks up the phone. Hobbs is driving with Gina. Look, camera 3 on me. Zoom in on me. Hobbs does not have a goatee in this scene. It's filmed at night. Look closely. There is no goatee.
I did not check. I did not
at
see
all.
That.
There's no goatee. None. It's gone. It's gone. It's in its trailer. I couldn't believe it. So I literally thought, okay, cool, all right. So this is realistic. He shaved his goatee in the movie. I mean, that's it. But let's find out if the goatee will return. Okay, let's continue.
It was in a coffee break. So Gina's like, oh, there's nothing. And then Hobbs looks down on the ground and says, there's always something. He takes his knife and he scrapes something into an evidence bag.
He scrapes the ground. He scrapes the shadow of a puddle into a plastic bag. I was just like, dude, they did not give The Rock much to work with in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know what he did to Vin Diesel or Dom's character, but like he is really paying the price in this movie. Like second fiddle. Yeah.
It was
so he scraped some evidence.
Some evidence of bag. Some sort.
Yeah.
And then cuts to Shaw and his team. They are on some kind of building overlooking a military base of some sort. And his goon is like, everything's in place. And so Shaw's like, send him in. All right. And then that's when the phone call happens. And they find out that it's military paint. And in 2 seconds, Tej finds out where it comes from. He's like, why don't you cross-reference it? And before The Rock finishes his sentence, Tej is like, oh, got it. It's in Spain on a NATO base. And so that's where Shaw is, right? And Hobbs is like, brush up on your Spanish. I'll see you in Espanol.
España. And it's so funny. It was just like, Tej, find my goatee.
Great. I have to go find my goatee. I'll see you in España. Yeah.
So, the next scene with Hobbs, he has a goatee again.
Yeah.
A well-established goatee in this next shot of him. And he makes a farming reference for the plan, and I'm I get lost in this plan because dude, his references, I don't know what he's talking about at this point. And so they realize that Shaw,
before that, Brian comes back, and they're all welcoming Brian back. They tell him the plan, the Hobbs in Spain, and they're gonna go there. But he asked for Dom, and I think it was Wonder Woman is like, he wouldn't leave without you. Like, they only have 4 days, right? Like,
dude,
if he took 2 days,
this feels like 6 days in. This feels like 6 days in. Brian's 24-hour escapade with Braga, like,
I don't know. At least 24-hour plane trip, right? To like, get from like LA back to wherever they are, you know.
Right.
So,
right,
like with driving time and everything. But so Brian and Dom have a weird conversation about, this is where he's like, hey, I found something out. And Dom's like, I don't care. Keep it to yourself. We're going after Letty. This is what we're going to do.
You wasted enough time.
So you wasted enough time going in trying to feel better about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go and actually save Letty. And so that's when Hobbs goes to Hobbs on the air base or the NATO base. And he's talking to the base commander. He's like, we have 4 teams, we have snipers. And he's like, I want your guys hidden so that when these guys come in, we can come down like the walls of Jericho. And then Riley shows up and he's like, I caught this dude disabling the security system. And so they're like, we gotta move the asset. We have to move the component. And then that's when your favorite line comes up, I think. What does he say?
I don't know.
With the eggs, the hen house, and the fox.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't understand that reference. And like, I literally put in my notes, I was just like, what did I put? I put, he makes a farm reference for the plan, and I'm lost.
Yeah.
I wrote that.
Yeah, he said something about eggs, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, the hen house and the hen. Let's go get the fox. That was pretty much it.
What are you talking about? He's just like, you go to the grocery store, you buy Pop-Tarts, you open it up to Pop-Tarts, and they're all crumbling inside. Let's go get the fox. It's like, what?
Doesn't make any sense, Dwayne.
Are you having a stroke, Rock? Like, and the cameraman's just like, just let it go, just let it run.
Just let it go. The writers are like,
this is gold.
Said it again.
We didn't even write this part. It's crazy.
it comes back to Brian. Them. Brian's like, there's something's not right, because he's been a cop for a long time. He knows something's not right. Shaw wanted us to find this guy, and then they're like, they're moving in on the component. They're moving the component somewhere. Oh, they're attacking the convoy. They knew, right? Yep. They knew they were gonna attack the convoy, and this is where we cut to the first ending.
To the Civil War ending.
Yeah. And this is the first truck of the movie.
This is the first truck.
The first truck of the movie.
It's a pretty conspicuous truck too. It's a huge truck that looks like, hey, I'm carrying something very top secret. And it's only been escorted by like 2 Jeeps. Right?
Right. Yeah, and like they have this $1 billion asset on there.
Yeah. So it's being driven by Ja, and Letty's driving with him. I'll be honest.
Yes,
like, I started just like full on watching during this ending. My notes get all crazy, like from here to the end game ending, because so much ridiculousness is happening. So what I have in my notes is that let me see. Oh, when they say Shaw ain't hitting the base, he's hitting the convoy. I wrote in my notes, that means the action will be driving related.
And,
cut to inconspicuous tank truck.
Then The Rock says, let these guys into some cars.
These guys into some cars. From like, he's not even in the scene because he's not allowed to be in any more action scenes. He just like turns around in a chair. Get this man a shield. So
get this man a shield. This is pretty much they're pulling off a Team Toretto TV VCR combo heist right now.
Yes. Yeah, that's because Letty and Ja just climb up on the roof of these speeding Jeeps.
Yeah.
Like, and it's windy and there's momentum and they're just standing on top of
bad on the convoy part, because a Jeep in a convoy, you're not supposed to be driving that close to the car in front of you in case a bomb goes off, and you both get hit.
Yeah, so they have to socially distance.
Right, they have to socially distance. But it's pretty smart that these guys ram the other Jeep against the truck so that they can control it. Right? So
yeah.
They murdered everybody.
It's been a while since the murder happened. Yep.
Is Ja, right?
Yep.
Just murders everybody in the car with his gun. And they're able to control it because the other goon is pressing it against the big truck.
Right.
Letty and Ja jump onto the big truck, just like in a couple of the other movies that we watched.
Just like wind doesn't exist.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. Kind of like the gas truck that Letty.
Exactly like the gas truck. Yeah. So Letty's done this before. Yeah, this is just muscle memory now. Even though she has no memory. Her
muscles and her goatee.
She's just like, how do I know how to jump on trucks so well?
Yeah. Like, I am really good at this.
Yeah. So Jason Bourne and Letty are on top of the truck, and I wrote in my notes, it was so easy for them to get on the truck.
Yeah, it was.
And now Tej, Han, and Wonder Woman are on the bridge.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And that car, as the goon's Jeep, right, is there's I call him Jeep Goon, takes off to the front of the convoy, right? And as he takes off, the Jeep that they shot up flies off of the bridge.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that they died. If they didn't die before, they died in this crash because they weren't on top of the Jeep. They weren't on top of the Jeep trying to surf it down like Brian and Dom.
Yeah.
Right? If they did that, they would have survived.
I think your survival percentage goes up like 99% if you jump on the top of a vehicle.
Yeah.
And you're able to surf it.
And then jump off just in time to softly land in the water.
Dude, or like Dom, just like lift up your arms and like
float off the screen.
Which he does shirtly. Oh man. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So NATO gets word that the convoy is under attack. So Hobbs says, "Head to the chopper," and so they jump on the chopper, and we don't see them again. But
yeah, I know it feels like that. They just fly out of the movie.
So this other goon, the Jeep goon, flies it way ahead, and that's where we pass Tej and on the overpass, and he spots the convoy. Wonder Woman and Han are on motorcycles, and Han is eating. I don't know if you noticed that.
So Han is eating. They're on the motorcycles, and they have no helmets, and they're going 200 miles an hour, weaving through traffic.
Yeah. This is a real movie, and lifelike. And but
so Wonder Woman jumps from her bike.
Yeah.
She jumps from a moving motorcycle. Like, think about that. Onto the goon's truck.
Yeah. He was about to smash her, and last second jumps onto the Jeep and is holding on. And then here comes Han, right?
Yep.
On the other side. And
not to be outdone.
Yeah, and this goon is about to do like Brian did to the puck on his car, right? He was about to swipe.
He's holding Wonder Woman so that she gets clipped off by something external.
Yeah,
right.
Yes, and here comes Han, jumps on, leaves his bike, jumps onto the Jeep, and like last second, kind of like in the bridge scene with Brian. Last second, jumps off onto the car, right? Last second, moves the Jeep out of the way so that Wonder Woman does not get killed.
Oh, man. And they stare at each other.
Yeah.
They stare at each other so hard.
Yeah.
It's just like, I felt like it would have been funny if like an efficient just like sat up in between them and he was just like, do you take Wonder Woman? Because these two are in love. Holy smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely are. And she pulls out a gun, holds it to the goon's head, and so they take care of that guy.
And there's like this at some point there's this big giant tripwire that's shot onto either side of the bridge.
It's an amazing contraption that this Jeep, like that's why this Jeep is flying it ahead. Comes up to these two walls on each side, and he shoots this thing that stabs into both walls, and then
he doesn't slow down either.
No,
it's like physics, right? Again,
right?
He's able to shoot sideways at the right moment. Yeah,
it was perfectly timed with the physics to go straight into the wall, and this thing starts whining. It's amazing, and it pulls this.
It drills itself into the wire.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it makes this tripwire, a car tripwire. Right.
Yeah.
Which is the upcoming deaths of the movie.
The
first Jeep of soldiers, like good guys, ram it, and like they flip 300 times. And then comes the big truck,
the convoy truck.
The convoy truck. It's a huge truck. Slams in this thing, stops, almost does an endo, where the back.
You think it's gonna? You think it's gonna do a stoppy? Yeah.
And then what happens?
A tank flies out of the truck. We have reached tank status in the franchise, Kalani.
It's happening. I feel accomplished.
I clapped. I do too. I clapped on the tank. I was just like, "Are you not in the tank?" Yeah, it was awesome. So the tank goes flying out.
Necessary.
And that's when Rome is just like, "Is that a tank?"
Yeah.
Like, yes, Rome. That is a tank.
Yeah. Well, Tej is like, someone's got to come up with a different plan.
Yeah.
It's a tank. and Rome is like, wait a minute. Did someone just say tank? That was awesome. That was. And,
so Shaw and Letty and Jason Bourne are inside the tank, right?
Yeah.
Jai's driving the tank. Yep. Letty's like, I don't know.
Pushing buttons.
Doing other stuff. Yeah. And Shaw's
like, push this button. She's like, okay. And she just pushes the button. And that's pretty much what goes on in the tank.
So he's like, weapons hot, and he starts blowing cars up. Not to mention, he's driving over cars, and he just like head on flattening these cars.
Yeah.
Like they're just completely flattening with people in them. There's so many deaths in this.
So Dom and his crew, Dom, Brian, and Roman come up in their Daytona. I think it's a '69 Dodge Charger Daytona. Brian's in a 1970 Ford Escort MK.
I like that car.
Cool little car. That's a cool little car. And then the Rome is in the 1969 Ford Mustang Fastback, which is also a dope car. And they're flying it down on the opposite side. And conveniently, when they pass the tank, there is a U-turn opening so that they can conveniently make the U-turn to the other side. But as soon as they do, that's when the tank says, "Hey, let's go have some fun." Right? Shaw's like, "Let's go have some fun." And fun to Shaw is murder.
He crosses over into oncoming traffic.
Yeah, he's just shooting the tank, and just like you're saying, running over people, and just like innocent bystander. And like Letty's like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Shaw ignores her, and finally, Dom so Rome is able to follow the tank over, so Rome is falling behind, and then Dom is like, "Hey, take the attention off of the people," and so that's when he gets in front of the tank.
And Rome's car gets in front of the tank.
Yeah,
and I don't know what's special about this Mustang, but I don't know why it didn't get flattened like all the other cars. It was just a regular car, but it just gets nudged by the tank continuously.
Yeah.
And then the tank tries blowing it up, but it misses.
Yeah.
So Rome is able to climb out and wrap a cable around the turret.
Yeah.
And basically they're trying to figure out, like, what are we gonna do? And is this when Brian's just like
they Shaw shoots out the bridge, right? Almost crushes Dom, right? But blocks the road, but creates a ramp, right?
Yeah.
For Brian to go ahead and launch over the median onto the other side, surviving, and his car surviving, being able to, and then gets into a place where Rome can jump off of his car that is about to get smashed, right?
Right.
As soon as he jumps, the car gets smashed.
Yeah.
He lands on Brian's car, gets inside, and celebrates that he's alive. He's like, "Yes!" I feel like he has the most grasp on reality in this movie.
Yeah.
He's like,
he's symbolizing the audience. Yeah. But it's funny because Brian, is this when he says the improvised line? Did you just say that?
I think before, it was a little bit before, but yeah, they're like, "We're gonna need a plan B," and then Ted is like, "B, we need a C, D, we need more alphabets."
Yeah.
And then Brian's like,
"We're gonna do what we do best.
Yeah,
improvise.
Yeah,
America."
So the tank is dragging the Mustang behind it, and then Dom is like, "Hey, Brian, gotta make a good anchor," and Brian's like, "I'm on it."
Yeah.
And so the tank is on going against traffic, oncoming traffic, and then everybody else is on the regular side, right? Brian and Dom are on the regular side, going the right way. But the Mustang ends up on that side, and so Brian is trying to ram the Mustang off of the bridge,
the edge of the bridge.
Yeah, in order
to be an anchor to pull the tank, slow it down at least, but to pull it off the edge, right?
So Shaw is like, "Hey, Letty, go take care of that wire, take care of that cable." So Letty gets on top of the tank. I don't know what she's
going full
supposed to
speed
do.
again,
going full speed. Yeah, and with the tension of that wire, there's no way she's getting it off.
Yeah,
hey, she's gonna try. And Brian finally gets the car to go over the side of the bridge, and the car starts going up, and it's about to stop the.
Well, they didn't realize that Letty was going to be on the top of the tank.
Yes.
Right, and when the Mustang finally goes over the edge, they all see Letty on the roof of the tank, and they're just like, "Oh no, Letty! Oh no!" So it all happens at the same time. The Mustang goes over, the tank starts to endo, and it starts to flip, launching Letty off of one bridge towards the other bridge, but there's no way she's gonna make it. So what does Dom do?
Dom climbs out of his car, whips his wheel, and steers with one hand to perfectly time ramming the railing so that he jumps, perfectly grabs Letty in the middle of the air, like they're both over nothing, over the drop, and he tackles her back across, right? I'm sure this is possible, and safe, wraps her, turns in midair, and slams his back against a car window. And they both fly there safely.
Nobody's bleeding.
No blood.
I feel like Letty's back should have broken like Gwen Stacy's back in Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
I feel like now we have to do those movies.
So if they're launching right towards each other, they should hit each other and just fall straight down, right? But somehow his force was stronger.
Yeah.
And it stopped her from moving this direction, and it carried her that direction. Whew. This movie.
It was. They kicked it up a nickel. This one.
So they land. Dom's the hero.
Yep.
And then the helicopter.
And then Hobbs shows up in a helicopter.
And it's just like.
Very good. Very good.
Very good. You were just like, I'm getting paid for this, right?
It's like, anybody need Girl Scout cookies down there?
Anybody? That'd be so awesome. We just start sprinkling Girl Scout cookies in.
Here's some Samoas.
Fundo snap. That was awesome. That was awesome. Well played. Well played.
Yes, that was that was good. And then so the credits roll because they just won. You know, they caught the bad guy.
That was the end of the movie. And my note says Chopper shows up late. Hobbs is useless. Hobbs unable to punch anything.
Yeah.
In this scene, sorry. And then I thought the movie was over. I was. Yeah. I mean, you know,
it would have been a good ending. Been like great.
It's a real Scooby Doo like, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids. But
it's not.
It's not. It's the Thanos snap.
Yeah. And then now we're moving to Endgame.
We're moving to Endgame because okay, all right. So cut back to the NATO base, and and Hobbs is, you know, thanking Dom then, like, well, you got your pardons. This is the end of the movie, so we all made it, guys. Nobody's bleeding. Letty's here. And we got Shaw. But not so fast. Because Shaw has some news that he needs to share. And dude, I was not expecting this. I really enjoyed this part. This is great. What happens?
He comes on, he's like, weren't you guys listening? I told you my plan. I told you what I was going to do to you. If you didn't, just leave this alone. I said I could reach out and destroy you anytime I want. And I have. You
Uncanny. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah. I was like, and I don't know if he threw the phone. I don't know how he had a phone, but no, Brian, like, so he's like, you should call Mia.
No, the Chinese police showed up, and and everybody's like pulling out their guns, and then that same police officer, she throws the phone.
Yeah, that's what it was. But so he calls her Mia, and they cut to a like a flashback, I guess, of the goons heading to Mia's house.
Yeah.
And
Nevis is taking the baby. Yeah.
Nevis takes the baby, but they're like, Mia, let's go. And Mia's like, no, runs back to the bad guys, and they catch her.
Dumb.
Yeah. And I don't know why she didn't try to run. But anyway,
I don't know. Like she really with this baby, like, really irresponsible.
It is.
She sent her husband away to do crime, and now she's sending the baby with a stranger. I don't know. Highly suspect.
So during this time, they're like, okay, so this says, the commander comes, and it's like, this doesn't change anything,
right?
You know. And Shah's like, I want the chip, and I want you to let me go with the chip.
Yep.
And the commander's like, no. And then Hobbs, what does Hobbs do?
Pulls out his giant handgun.
Yeah.
Points it at the commander.
Yeah.
And he tells him, give him the chip.
Yeah.
And then I think Hobbs says, Hobbs look at Dom them, and it's one of those things like, it's like it mirrors what Dom said at the beginning to Brian. Mm-hmm. He's just like, as soon as he walks through that door,
yep,
everything changes.
Yeah. He's like, I think I wrote it down, but he's like,
he goes, as soon as he walks out that door, your partners walk out with it or something.
He's like, the words pardon and something don't exist, and he's like,
right.
And Dom is like, those words didn't exist when I was born.
When I was born. Get out of here, Dom. This is stupid. What a
that was a horrible line.
So Shaw gets the chip and he goes to leave, and the biggest snap! Oh no! The second to the last snap, maybe the third to the last snap of the movie for me.
Are you talking about? Are you coming, babe?
Shaw says, "Are you coming, babe?"
And it shows Letty.
Well, yeah, it shows Letty.
It shows Letty. And she's like making the nope face, like,
yep.
I don't think I'm gonna go.
And who's babe? The Rock. No, it's not.
So, the camera. I like how they did it because they had it showed Letty, but in the foreground was Gina Carano, and it focused on her, and she's like, Gina. And she's like, of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I was like,
oh, snap. And then what does Shah say? Shah says, you never had your car.
Exactly. Like, you had me? You never had your car. Oh my gosh, exactly.
She was the bad guy the whole time.
Which goes back to Braga, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Braga say something that he only wants you, he only lets you close if he wants you close or something?
If he wants you close, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess his trip wasn't completely worthless.
Yeah, it was a waste.
Okay, yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So Shah and his goons go on the run at this point.
Yep.
And
Shaw already knew that he was going to get caught because they're driving to what seems like, because him and his goons are driving on the base, and Rome is chasing. He's like, where are they going? They're on an army base.
Yeah.
And this huge, what is it, a C-130?
It's a huge plane. Oh, no, it's a planet.
It's a planet. They're just like, that's the size of that plane. And he's like, that's a planet.
Yeah, it's because he's like, where are these guys going to go? The plane shows up, and Ted just like, why'd you have to say something? Now we got to deal with this plane. And Rome's like, that's not a plane, it's a planet.
It's a huge plane.
And side note, how long do you think his runway is? Because this next scene is like, they're traveling like 150 miles an hour. And
it would be so funny because like if they zoomed out of this scene, and the runway was a big circle because that's the only way. It's the only way that they kept like driving and lifting off slightly off the ground.
Right.
Because reality, they'd be in the ocean.
Really?
Like, because this last scene is like, it's like 15 minutes. Dude,
but
so much stuff happens.
I don't understand this.
I tell you, like my notes just get like horrible. Horrible because there's so much stuff happening.
So much stuff that happens here, and so it's going to be hard to keep straight. But
we're going to have to summarize. I think basically the overall plan that Brian then had, because Shaw is able to drive his truck onto the back of the plane. Right? Yeah, him, Brock Lesnar. One of his goons looks exactly like Brock Lesnar with more hair. He's huge.
Yeah,
and a few other goons. They make it onto the plane. And now Brian and Dom and his team, they're in Jeeps too, and they're driving alongside trying to catch up to the plane.
Yeah.
But they don't know how they're going to stop it, so they bust out the good old harpoon guns, right?
Yep, the harpoon guns.
The NOS-powered harpoon guns.
Yes.
But they've got to aim for the flaps. So if they can aim for the flaps, then the plane can't take off, right?
Yeah.
Does that now all of a sudden... at this last part of the movie, physics start existing. It's like somewhere in the fabric of this universe, physics start happening.
We pick and choose when we want to use physics.
Because all of a sudden, nobody can make their shots.
Yeah, it goes downhill from here with their shots. But first, Wonder Woman takes her shot and gets bumped by one of the goons and misses.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the other side, is it Rome? Did Rome shoot it?
Yes.
I don't know.
I couldn't keep track.
Yeah.
I know that there was one on each side of the wing. I know that Wonder Woman was on one side.
And so Dom makes it on the plane, smashes into what's her name? Gina, right? She survives that hit. It was a pretty hard hit.
Yeah.
And then Mia gets away. Toretto comes out in true Toretto fashion with a shotgun. Starts shooting up the place.
Isn't it weird? Like, why would you even bring Mia onto the plane? Why not keep her in the Canary Islands as a hostage? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dumb. Yeah.
So they flew to the Canary Islands to pick up Mia. And came back while Brian was in
LA. So they were
we need to kill 24 hours. So let's go to the Canary Islands.
So they're fighting.
Brian gets out of the car too and gets choke slammed by Brock
Lesnar. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is Letty versus Riley 2. This is the second fight that they go back and forth. Yeah, they go back and forth with the gun, and then bad guys. She should have known as soon as she turns to be a bad guy, she's gonna run out of ammo, because that's what happens with them. She tries to shoot Letty, no ammo, and so but she does a really nice spinning kick, some kind of spinning.
It's kick. Like a Black Widow kick.
Yeah, and takes out. I don't remember what kind of kick that's called, but she takes out Letty. Letty goes down. And so there's a few fights on there. There's a few fights going on at the same time.
So there's this one part of the fight that Dom is fighting Brock Lesnar, and he does this one. He's fighting Shaw and Brock Lesnar at the same time. And he does this running headbutt.
Yeah.
And the running headbutt, he dives and he is able to headbutt both Shaw and Brock Lesnar at the same time.
I think Shaw I had to was about to take out Brian.
Oh, that's what was happening.
Yeah, and so no, go ahead. What happened with the pause?
So you're gonna have to go back and pause this scene, because I went back and I paused it, and I'm fairly certain, because it looks so weird. Like when you pause it, I think that's Vin Diesel's stuntman that they use CG to stitch his face on. because it looks so weird. I kid you not. I mean, I wish I was joking, but it looks like a bad stitch of Vin Diesel's face on a larger head. And it's just a weird shot. He's like diving like this. And it's just like, it's like a stitch CG face of Vin Diesel, not in the scene, just like a resting face of Vin Diesel. Like, and it's so funny, dude.
That is so funny. So I'm gonna go back and pause that. But and what is happening here though is Brian catches Shaw going after Mia and then gets beat up. Right, he's on the ground, and Shaw's about to hit him with a pipe, and then that's when I think Dom sees it, but he's got the
Brock Lesnar
between him. That's when he does a flying headbutt. Without the pause, it looks pretty cool. He's like a dolphin, like right into the.
He does, right?
Yeah, right into the guy's head. The guy falls down, knocks over some boxes, and also knocks down Shaw. And then I think Brian and Letty can kind of get away.
I feel like that flying headbutt should be like what Juggernaut from X-Men should be doing all the time.
No, that is definitely a Juggernaut move.
Yeah.
So there's so much going on here with Tej and Rome versus the Goon and Jeeps. They got Brian drives a red car out, and I don't know what kind of car that is. It's like a very expensive red car, but so Brian drives his red car out, and then here comes the Batmobile. We see the Batmobile one more time.
See the Batmobile again.
And the blind girl is chasing Brian down. Brian turns around and somehow jumps over the car backwards, right? Distracting her enough that she slams into a barrier and takes her out. He flips the Yui and takes off after the plane. That was a pretty crazy part. And then Dom is still fighting with the two guys. And that's when Hobbs shows up. Oh, before that, Hobbs jumps off of the car, does another jump off of the car onto the wheels of the plane.
Physics still is not applying to him. Right. Yeah.
And that's how he gets on the plane. But he shows up to fight Brock. Right. Dom is fighting Shaw, takes out Shaw, and then scoops up Brock, lifts him up, and The Rock. Like, I wanted to pause this part because The Rock had to jump about 15 feet in the air to be able to clothesline this dude. He was like,
I know,
way up there,
8 feet tall. Yeah.
And he jumped up, clotheslined this dude, and took him out. And so this is where Letty and Riley are still fighting. Riley's about to beat Letty, but then somehow Letty opens the door. Gina almost falls out. Riley almost falls out, but gets up, and then The Rock shows up, passes Letty a
harpoon gun.
And then what's she do with that? You can
imagine. I don't know if she says anything. I don't remember if she says anything.
I think you're on wrong team, Witch.
Yeah. Dude, she harpoons Gina out of the plane. It was pretty alarming. It was.
Oh,
and the Rock enabled. That was an snap. Yeah. So that was the second to the last snap for me.
Yeah. And so while all this happening, Han and Wonder Woman are fighting a goon on top of their cars that are being lifted by the plane. And Wonder Woman is like hanging off of the back, right? Han has her by her hands, holding her up. The goon comes up to shoot Han in the back. And what does Wonder Woman do? We'll call her Giselle at this time.
Wonder Woman. This is the saddest part for me.
Yeah, I think so.
I did not see this coming. It was snap city. like, so she jumps backwards and she shoots the goon coming to take out Han.
Yeah.
And she sacrifices herself.
Disappears into nothingness.
Dude, I snapped so hard.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming at all, man. I mean, like, looking back now, I see like all of the signs, because they were setting up like, oh, we're gonna spend our life together and it's gonna be so awesome.
And yeah,
moment of silence for Wonder Woman.
I shed a tear for Wonder Woman, and but it was hard just because there was so much more happening.
It was.
They finally got the cars loose, and well, not loose, but on the ground, and then The Rock and Letty jump out of the plane. Another physics thing, right? I don't know how that one works, but they jump out of the plane and land in the car again. So The Rock is used to it already, so he just jumps because he's done it before this movie. And,
he doesn't even look anymore.
No, he's just like,
as long as something looks like it's the same speed as him, where he is.
Remember the Last Action Hero movie with
yes,
Arnold Schwarzenegger? Everything just works out.
I love that movie. Yeah. Yep.
That's what happens with The Rock. The Rock is just like,
The Rock.
It's just gonna work out. And then
he's in that movie universe.
Yeah. And so so Letty jumps, she makes it, and then Dom's about to jump, but then sees Shaw. So he goes after Shaw. They fight over the chip. Shaw gets flown from the car out of the back of the plane. So he's done. Right? Yeah. At this point, the plane is going down. It starts bursting into flames.
Now it looks like the actual sun, because it's like on fire, the size of a planet, chasing these cars down the runway.
Man.
It was a pretty epic shot.
It was pretty epic. And it's just burning flames. And as the plane hits the ground, what do we see? We see another like tank moment, kind of.
Oh my gosh, dude. So the plane's crashing, right? And everybody's just like, Dom, I'm ready. My snap. I'm like halfway through snap. I'm just like, Dom, so I'm gonna die? Is this Endgame? Is this Civil War happening again? Is he the Spider-Man disappearing soon?
Iron Man.
But he the car comes flying out of the plane, just like the tank did.
Just like the
this
tank.
Car, there's no way this car should be melted.
Yeah.
But like it's just like 1,000 degrees hot. And even if it flew out of the plane, it should just be like a charged skeleton, like just like in the driver's seat. So it jumps out, and I'm just like, whoa, snap. He made it.
Mm-hmm.
But doing his best Ryan O'Connor impersonation, like he's driving straight, and we're all like cheering. And he immediately just flips like 10 times. And we're just like, what? Well, so Dom makes it out of the burning plane only to flip 15 times. And you're just like, oh my gosh, he's dead.
Almost get run over by just misses the plane, running him over.
Right.
And so they finally come to a stop. They get out of their car. They're just staring at the wreckage. And they're like, oh, Dom. Oh no, they're getting sad face.
And then you hear this song in the background. It's just like if you were born in the 1980s, you recognize that soundtrack, because Dom, we confirm, is a cybernetic organism sent back from the future. Like he is a Terminator that walks out of the fire.
He doesn't like. His car landed on the outside of the crash. Like, it wouldn't have been too hard for him to walk around the fire. But he decides, I think he was lost back there. He's just like, can somebody say something? I can't find my way out.
I wanted his hand to be on fire and just make like the thumbs up from Terminator. Because he is like unscathed.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But yeah, he walks through and everybody's happy. But except Mia asks about Wonder Woman. There's Wonder Woman, and then her and Brian just have this moment where they're crying.
Oh my gosh, dude.
For her.
Yeah. What? That was heavy. I mean, we know why. She had to go do Wonder Woman. But she had to go make millions of dollars. We get it. Yeah. But I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready, Giselle. I wasn't ready. So I don't know if there's much more to that scene.
Just that Dom comes up and hands over the chip and takes, so this is worth $1 billion, huh?
Right.
And then he's like, name your price. I guess he's selling the $1 billion back to Hobbs, right? That's what they're saying. And
$1 billion. I mean, I just said, you just told me it was worth $1 billion.
But you remember what he says?
He says like 327. Is that it?
1327.
I'm not good with number memory. 1327.
1327.
I was like, what? And as soon as he said it, I realized what it was. I was just like, oh man, I hope it's an address. Yeah. So it was really cool. It cuts back to Dom's old house.
And all you hear is going back to Cali. But actually,
this time,
Bandolero's sound that's playing when they go back there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And there's a yellow Lamborghini in the driveway now. There's like a blue. Is it a blue Skyline?
I think it's a Skyline. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're in the back. You got everybody's wearing white.
Beers and barbecues. Yep.
Yeah. And Rome and Tej are at the barbecue, and Hobbs shows up.
Yeah.
And Hobbs and Rome is just like, "Hey Mia, hide your baby oil." And what does Hobbs say?
Hide your forehead.
Dude, so did you know that scene was totally ad-lib, and Tej's reaction was completely like spontaneous?
Oh, really? When he spit out the water?
Where Ludacris
or the beer, whatever.
He spits all the beer out.
Dude,
The Rock is so awesome.
He is.
It's so awesome.
He is.
So I think in the last episode we talked about how tall Vin Diesel was, right? He's 6 feet.
Yeah.
And The Rock is like 6'5", right? So he's got 5 inches on him, but they always make him look like they're the same height. Right. So like on this last scene, he goes up to talk to Dom. Yeah. And they look like they're the same height. So before we talk about what they say after the scene, you notice that they have Dom standing on elevated driveway to be the same height as The Rock. Sorry.
That's
okay,
funny.
So now we can go back to what they were saying. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, they first have Brian and Mia are talking about how Jack is gonna love California, and they can even build a car in the garage. And Dom is like, better be a Charger. And he's awkwardly, he's like, you mean a Skyline, right?
Almost had
and so they have their fun with their muscle versus import. And then that's when The Rock shows up, and then they have this weird, can you explain what that meant when they're standing like next to each other, not looking at each other?
We should do our podcast like that.
Yeah.
Anybody. Other way.
Oh, this one.
I don't know how it's going to show up on the video. But
this is gonna.
We should just not look at each other. Just look straight ahead to the side. Be like, and I should just put my hands on my hips because The Rock likes to stick his chin out all the time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he said.
It was
just a weird like military conversation.
You're pretty cool for a cop, and Hobbs like, oh, you're a criminal. You're cool too.
They were just trying to hide their emotions. I know. Yeah. See you real soon. That's what it was.
See you real soon. Pretty much. And then Letty goes and thanks Elena and for helping Dom.
Dude, this is the weirdest scene ever. This is so weird. I mean, like, Letty, come on. You don't have to. You don't have to. Yeah. You want. Yeah. You got Dom.
Yeah.
But really, like...
And then Dom comes over. Is like, why don't you stay?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's gonna be real awkward. I'm gonna go. I got my family. I'm a cop. got your family of criminals. So
what does she do? What does she do? Because it's gonna be awkward.
She kisses him
in front of everybody.
In front of everybody, and Dom realizes this and doesn't kiss her back. He's just like, Letty's there. She's gonna knock me out if I kiss you back. It was really weird. But they go back and they start to eat, and Roman grabs some food first, and Brian's like, him.
Yep.
He bit first. He prays.
Yep. You say grace.
Rules. And so, which he actually prayed pretty eloquently, and praised him out. Thanking him for family, and then of course, finally for fast cars, right? And then it takes them into the credits.
Yep.
And that was it, right? Nothing else after that, right?
No,
nothing else. Big.
I fast forwarded there. I was just like, oh, something's gonna happen. How does this lead into Tokyo Drift? How does it lead into Tokyo Drift? So this post-credit scene
is like too much spoiler for me.
Dude, it was so crazy. Crazy. I only saw Tokyo Drift once, and this post-credit scene looks like the ending of Tokyo Drift. Why would you put the ending of the next movie as your post-credit scene? So it's the final race with Han where he crashes and dies.
Right.
But I don't remember anybody coming out of the car in that. He just crashes and dies in that movie. We'll find out when we watch it next week or whatever. But so Han crashes in this final race in the post-credit scene, which was
he gets rammed. So they show this Mercedes or something taking off because he hears on the radio that there's a race, and they say RX-7. I don't remember seeing an RX-7 in the race.
Yeah.
But anyway, this car takes off, and then he rams Han and flips him over.
Yeah.
And then Han's over there hanging out
upside
the car,
down.
And it's on fire. Yeah. And then what happens? Who gets out of the car?
Dude, the transporter gets out of the car. Jason Statham gets out of the car.
Yeah.
And he makes a phone call. And he's like, Luke Hobbs, you don't know me. But I don't remember what he said, but you will.
Like, but you're about to know me. Oh, so
dude.
I haven't seen the other movies, but is this like the other Shaw's brother or something? Isn't he?
Hobbs and Shaw. Oh,
Ian Shaw.
Yeah, this is Gilbert Shaw. Dexter Shaw. Roberto Shaw.
This prepares us for Tokyo Drift.
Well, it kind of spoils Tokyo Drift.
It spoils, but also like you kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah. It's gonna get me through Tokyo Drift, knowing that that's what it leads to. Because after Tokyo Drift is Fast 7.
Yeah, and then we can,
dude,
back at it. That was it. That was the movie.
Unbelievable.
That was the movie, guys.
That was it. Okay, so what is your rating? Shaka rating?
Well, there's so many good parts. I'm gonna just give it. I give it 2 Shakas. Give it 2 Shakas.
I watched Shaka too, man. It was unreal.
I don't know if I can watch it again, but I might be able to watch it again later.
As part of the bigger storyline, I like where they're going. Like they've developed the characters enough that I actually care about them. I can't believe I snapped Wonder Woman's death, because her and Han had something pretty cool, and like I like the characters. They're
I forgive the lines, some of the lines and
the lines,
but
dude.
The characters.
It's part of what it is, man. You know what I mean? It shows that they're not taking themselves too seriously.
And even when they showed Han in the post credit, I was like, oh man.
I know.
Like Han.
I know.
Oh.
Han, is one of the main serious actors in this franchise.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man,
dude. Him and the lady who had the weird speech before the race. This is London, baby.
This is London, baby.
Serious actress.
Yeah.
I
respect her as an actress.
I am not looking forward to Tokyo Drift, but I am. I wish I had a time machine that I could watch Fast 7 already.
Han is the only character from this franchise that so far that we've watched, right?
Yes.
Besides the other, well, not too much spoilers, I guess, if people haven't seen it, but
right. I don't know if Tej is in Tokyo. I don't know. We're gonna have to see.
We'll see.
But yeah,
I
would recommend this movie.
Yeah,
it was bonkers. It has 2 ending sequences.
Yeah,
magical goatees.
Magical goatee, a bunch of O snaps. Gina Carano.
She was great. She was great.
Yeah,
fooled me.
Yeah,
I was actually really bummed. I felt betrayed.
Right, you're right.
Not you.
I can't believe the fast. I'm kind of like feel bad about myself because this Fast Furious franchise is tricking me.
I know. Fool me once. Oh. Yeah.
What's the Michael Scott line? I forget. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, strike 3.
Strike 3.
Something like that. So that's it.
That was Fast 6.
That was Fast 6.
6.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends because they need to hear about this.
Dude, thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome.
We'll see you in the next episode. Aloha.
Aloha.
And stop.